The new Black Clover chapter is insanely good, but it definitely opens up the question of whether Black Clover might end sooner than expected. Other than that, it's simply a hype chapter that confirmed many of my predictions. The new Paladins are here, Acier and Morgen as I predicted, and of course Morris as everyone expected anyway. Also, it looks like I'm right about how people are becoming Paladins. There's a difference between those who get a devil soul directly and those who have to die to be turned into normal Paladins. It could be that the first character to turn into a paladin will be Jack. Let's talk about it. If you end up liking this video, consider subscribing. Please enjoy this video. Let's go! To everyone's surprise, Black Clover had a small time skip of 3 days. Tabata often releases chapters that show events in the future and then switches back to the past. He did this in the Elf Reincarnation arc and also in the Spade Kingdom War. So he does that with arcs where there's a big war going on, like now with the Judgment Day arc, or whatever the official name of the arc will be. Both the war in the Spade Kingdom and the reincarnation of the elves have one thing in common. They are long, and that's why this back and forth works in the first place, so don't worry. The reason he showed the beginning of the war could simply be to keep the action high and build up the stakes. For this reason, he showed us Acier and Morgen as paladins. Both were dead characters, so characters that Lucius could bring back to life immediately, as he has already done with Heath. It's not too fast, it's just logical. Many final arcs have 100, 150 or even 200 chapters and escalate at the beginning of the arc just as quickly as Black Clover does now. If Black Clover is not forced to finish everything as quickly as possible, then we can easily assume 100 chapters. Now let's take a look at the new Black Clover chapter. The Clover Kingdom is preparing for the start of the war. Everyone has taken their positions waiting for Lucius Zogratis to appear. It looks like the captain and squad members have spread out to strategic points. Then we see a little moment between Yami and Charlotte. Basically, Yami has asked her out, so obviously something is going to happen to one of them to trigger those feelings a little bit more. My bet is on Yami mainly because Charlotte was already controlled in the Elf Reincarnation arc. So making her a paladin will be a bit boring. For this reason, I think that those who were not possessed by elves will be the most likely to become paladins. That was also one of my predictions, where I assumed that in the final arc the devils will possess the humans. That's more or less what's happening right now. Aside from that, Yami also has this mysterious devil heart that has transformed his body into that of a devil. Especially now with the revelation that Morgen probably has the soul of Lucifers, the meaning of Yami's devil body might be quite different than I expected. More on this topic in a moment. Jack as usual talks about how he's going to slash his enemies, when suddenly a light appears behind him and Lucius is then standing in the middle of the capital, accompanied by Paladin Morgen, Acier and Morris. Obviously, Jack was highlighted for this scene because Tabata had been planning this since the captain's meeting before the Spade War, when Jack remembered Morgen. In the blink of an eye, probably the speed of light, Morgen then cuts off Jack's arm or even both arms, as well as all of his sickles, and even made a hole in his body. That's a fatal injury even for Black Clover. We saw that Yami and Nacht were barely alive after suffering such an injury, being almost dead after only a few minutes. If Mimosa hadn't been there, both of them would be dead, so that means Jack has a few more minutes before he's dead. Unless someone like Mimosa heals him. In my opinion, Black Clover generally has only one single problem. Moments like this mean nothing because every time it happens, the character is brought back to life, so to speak, or saved. And I think that's the case here as well, but in this case, specifically in this arc, they literally come back to life. That's probably why Tabata refused to let all those characters die, so it's not really a problem. Almost everyone will die. That's the whole point. The Undying Body spell. If he had let the other characters die, they would have come back anyway. If my theory about the Undying Body spell and the two different forms of paladins is correct, then it means that people can become paladins in two ways. Either they can be transformed by Lucius personally and directly by giving them a purified devil soul, or by resurrection, as is the case with Acier and Morgen, where resurrected characters can also receive a purified devil soul. Lucius said that to save people he will have to let them die first. then bring them back with immortal bodies. Which is probably why Zenon was willing to sacrifice Alan in the first place. The point is that if my paladin theory is correct, whereby people have to die first in order for the number of paladins to grow, like a zombie apocalypse, then it just doesn't make sense for Mimosa to heal Jack. Of course she could heal him, but by killing him he wouldn't really die. He would be revived immediately and then fight as a paladin against the Clover Kingdom. It is not clear if the revived paladins will live after Lucius is defeated, so there is a possibility that Acier and Morgen will actually be alive again. But I'm almost sure that in the end it will be revealed that only those who were transformed into paladins immediately after their death will actually be allowed to stay alive, probably because their souls were not yet in the afterlife. So what I'm saying is that Jack's death may not be a fake, and the next paladin will be Jack, and that's a big problem. Jack is insanely strong without some sort of special magic that allows him to slash dimensions. He can perform equally destructive physical slashes as Yami, and is also generally considered his rival in terms of strength. Now when he transforms into a paladin, not only does he receive regeneration powers that match his ruthless fighting style, but he also receives a huge power boost in terms of strength. We're talking about a person who can cut the entire Clover Kingdom capital with a single slash. I wouldn't be surprised if the entire Clover Kingdom quickly turned to dust. On the next page we see Morgen recognizing Yami, which once again shows that they are not possessed or anything. They are the same person. This is important to understand. The paladin spell doesn't change the person, it changes their perspective. Lucius has made them truly believe that what is happening is not a bad thing. Speaking of Morgen, he has the devil horns of Lucifugus. Lucius did that on purpose. That's why I theorize that Acier will be revived with Megicula's purified soul. But more on that in a moment. The reason I said this whole Lucifugus Morgen situation was important in relation to Yami and his devil body is that it was important to first understand the whereabouts of Lucifugus, thereby understanding if Lucifugus could have anything to do with Yami's devil heart. The question is directly related to my theory that Lucifugus has dark magic and is the source of Yami's magic for some reason. With the Land of the Sun arc, this theory has gained a lot of support, mainly because the entire Yami clan is literally unable to obtain magic other than dark magic, suggesting a supernatural influence in regards to their magic. If Lucifugus is the devil of darkness, which by the way we shall find out in the next chapters, then this answers the question of whether Lucifugus could have possessed Yami when Yami was connected to the Cliffeth. So if Morgen possesses the soul of Lucifugus, then the soul of Lucifugus cannot be in Yami. So theoretically, there should be another reason unless it is just Lucifugus' heart. But if this heart is not that of Lucifugus and has nothing to do with Lucifugus, then there are only two possibilities. Either it is the heart of another devil who formed a connection with Yami when Yami was connected to the Cliffeth, and thus the entire underworld, or it is Yami's heart. If it is the heart of another devil, then this would not really fit the whole Yami plot unless the dark magic devil is not Lucifugus. There's this theory that Balfour Gore might have something to do with Yami, because of the whole toilet thing. It's definitely a funny idea and has been around for many years. The only reference point to this theory is the toilet. I can actually see that happening, but I wouldn't give it too much meaning. That Balfour Gore could possess Yami would mean that Yami will gain a second magic ability. But I wouldn't count on the idea that Balfour Gore is the dark magic devil. That would make absolutely no sense. Everything hints at Lucifugus. So if it's not Lucifugus' heart, then it makes much more sense if it's Yami's heart. And his own heart for whatever reason has turned into that of a devil, which in turn has turned Yami's body into that of a devil, as was the case with Zenon when he received the heart of Beelzebub. The fact that it is Yami's heart is actually an interesting idea, considering that Yami's father has stated that in rare cases, one of the members of the Yami clan becomes the leader due to the secret power of the Yami clan. This person is considered the strongest of the clan and has the greatest potential. The title of this person is the Demon God. It may well be that this actually has something to do with the demon gods. The pill that the Yami clan uses to release the true potential has pretty much revealed that Ichika definitely has the potential of the demon god. Like a demon god, she lost control and received a great power in return, although she was just a child who didn't even receive her scroll or have combat experience neither with magic nor the katana katana, she was still able to defeat an entire warrior clan. Obviously this is similar to the strength of a demon god. But the thing is, Yami didn't take the pill, so we don't know if he's not the demon god too. Both are siblings, so maybe that's even the reason why both have the same potential. Now Yami's body is turned to that of a devil with a devil's heart. So maybe Yami is a demon god just like Ichika, but Yami awakened the power naturally without using that pill. So he awakened the true potential with time and training. The demon god of the Yami clan might be different from the usual demon gods. Maybe they keep their human body but transform into a devil. This could be positive for the Clover Kingdom or negative. Positive if Yami keeps his consciousness, and negative if he starts going crazy like a normal demon god. Of course, this scenario can be mixed in all sorts of ways. For example, a demon god Paladin controlled by Lucius. Or Yami could turn into a demon god, but then the Black Bulls get him to gain control of his body, which then turns him into a devil fighting on the side of the humans. Maybe even Charlotte will have something to do with it. Maybe Yami will even become the next Lucifugos or Darkness Devil. Then we see Morris. I'm not sure about the translation of this page, but he says something about how those who die at his hand will be lucky, because they will be reborn or something like that. This clearly points to the Undying Body spell. Then Acier shows up, and of course the Silva family is in shock. The reason I think it's possible that she could have the purified devil soul of Megicula is simply that her horns resemble Megicula's, but are not exactly the same. However, that doesn't matter because Sister Lily's horns were also different from Beelzebub's horns. I mentioned the similarity only because Morgen obviously must have the soul of Lucifugos because his horns are clearly those of Lucifugos. Apart from that, Noelle and Noelle were able to defeat Megicula only because she did not have her full power. She was barely manifested and yet they almost lost. If Acier has Megicula's soul now, it will be like the rematch I predicted. Obviously the Silva family will fight Acier, so it just doesn't make sense to use Megicula in any other way. And it will also fit with the fact that Lucifugos killed Morgen and Morgen now most likely has Lucifugos' soul. The same could be true for Acier. Then we see light coming through dark clouds and Lucius Zogratis descending from heaven like an angel. He's even mistaken for an angel, a clear indication for my theory that Paladins are in fact false angels. It's likely that many Paladins will show up all over the place. For example, we haven't yet seen Damnasia and many other dead characters who could be good Paladins. The fact that the people of the Heart Kingdom and the Spade Kingdom have stayed in their kingdom suggests that they will fight in their kingdom. It could be that each Dark Triad member is assigned a kingdom if the whole cocoon situation lasted only 7 days. What I mean by that is that the Dark Triad may not be forced to stay in these cocoons forever. If that is the case, then the only reason they are not with Lucius now is to take care of the other 3 kingdoms. Danica is probably in the Heart Kingdom, reviving all kinds of previous Heart Queens. Of particular interest here is the first queen, the founder of the kingdom and the reason for the Undine Pact. Then we probably have Zenon in the Spade Kingdom because of Alan, and I also expect Alan to be a paladin. For Dante only the Diamond Kingdom remains, even if he doesn't really have anything to do with it. I personally don't like the whole war being spread all over the continent. I would prefer all the strong characters to come to one battlefield somehow. Maybe that's how this war will develop over the course of the arc. Let me know in the comments what you think of this new Black Clover chapter and my chapter review. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, and if you want to see more Black Clover content, then subscribe to this channel with the notification bell activated. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye.